Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow with the East-West, with GNE TV for years. That becomes almost a part of me, myself. For the past 2 weeks, I've been away from home. Where to? I went home. Well, home, you know. I left the United States, went to China for a little vacation, and come back home now. And I call this home and China home, all my home. The best thing I wish is that my home stays balanced. Okay, that's another day, another topic. Today with me is my good friend, Mr. I should say Commander Joe Shamas. Commander Joe Shamas has been in the service of Navy for
25 years.
25 glorious years. And he retired, never stopped, never take a stop, continued doing the public service from the local level, all the way going up from the community level and on and on. Now he's ready to go to the federal. He is the candidate for Congress. Sir, I believe that's a job well done, and that's a life written in capital letters. So welcome to my show.
Thank you very much, Jack. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having us here again.
I'm especially amazed the fact that you have your life story written in those capital letters. He started, as far as I know, all the way back when he was 12 years old, came into this country as an orphan.
Yes, right? I spent 12 years in an orphanage. That's
yeah, spent 12 years in an orphanage. Came here, found the land of the free, home of the reef, and started all there, and then all the way to a U.S. Navy commander, and to nowadays who it is, ready to rock and roll to Congress. So that's a whole story. To make a long story short, though, I owe my audience a little explanation about how or why I'm excited about Mr. Shamas. Back home, when I was discussing about my recent activities or involvement with elections, my brother, who is 9 years on top of me, well, after hearing all the stories, everybody has a different story, right?
Of course.
He says that I like the story that a politician talks no politics, or is the politics for the purpose of people, not for politicians themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, that is Joe Shamas' story. So to Commander Shamas, I would like you to explain in your own way my brother's excitement about you.
Well, Jack, I think your brother hit the nail on the head. The problem with our system right now is that politicians are strictly politicians. They're forgotten what it is, what is the meaning and the intent of public service. Yeah, as Jack mentioned earlier, I served in the United States Navy for 25 years. And I was very honored and very fortunate to get promoted so often that I retired at the rank of commander, all the way from E1, which is an incredible feat by itself. But Jack mentioned that already.
E1 is the guys on the deck, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what happened is we have to remind people that politicians are not there and should not be there for their own satisfaction. They are there to serve the people. And unfortunately, nowadays, they are not doing that. And that's why it really bothers me to see that happening to our beautiful and great country. So I said, it is time for me to continue to serve our communities by extending our reach into the federal level and serving with your blessing and with your support and votes to reach the United States Congress so we can really do a better job than is being done now.
All right. I should call this a very sounding statement. Yet that reminds me of something, of the famous speech made by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And about 40-something, no, not 40.
50-something
years ago, when he was assassinated on the, I remember the date was April the 4th, right?
It was a few
He was
weeks ago,
assassinated.
yes.
One of his last words was that I had a dream. What he said.
Yes.
of course, his dream and his dream started from zero, from nothing, right? Okay, now, to compare the two stories, how do you compare your lifetime story to the dream of Dr. King's Jr.?
Well, first of all, I'm very honored to be at the same conversation and discussion with the incredibly gifted orator and most importantly, a great human being, Dr. Martin Luther King. So I'm flattered and honored to be in the same conversation. Dr. King had a vision that people are created equal. And in fact, he was really correct because our Constitution says we the people. It does not say we the Chinese,
we the rich,
the
we
black,
the poor.
we're the poor, or any,
Yeah.
it just simply says we the people.
We the people.
And for me, it was really an incredible evolution of sorts to come here and to be able to achieve the American dream. From, of course, getting my citizenship to being able to serve in the greatest military in the world has ever seen, to serve as a doctor on nuclear-powered fleet ballistic missile submarines, to continue to serve, to own a home, to have a family, to raise businesses, and so on. I mean, we've pretty much achieved what Dr. Martin Luther King's dream was. His dream was about equality, and my dream is equality of access and opportunity for everybody that comes to our wonderful country. And that is something we have to refocus and redirect our energy as a community to help others to recognize the same dreams that I have achieved and the dreams of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Exactly. Thank you for that statement. Thank you for positioning yourself in the way you did. However, there's one thing we noticed that Dr. Luther King Jr. never completed his dream. He went halfway. He was unfortunately assassinated. And we, the people left over by him, who are the ones continued his dream. In the part of continuation, in your story though, you made it. You made more of the realization of the dream coming true from the end of from the fact that starting from the orphan all the way to a Navy commander, retired with lost a lot of medals and glory. Those are the completed dreams. And yet in your eye, even that dream is not completed. That's why you're candidating. You're now doing your campaign as a candidate for Congress. How do you explain your continuation of the dream, continued one step by another?
I think your correlation is again right on. And one of the things that we identify with, just because I personally have achieved a dream that was a dream and in fact turned into reality for me, that dream is missing to be realized by so many others. And so as part of a community of immigrants, community that we have to, as a family of Americans, as family of immigrants, as families of cultures that bind us together with a common hope and a common dream of achieving an American miracle, so to speak, to be able to proudly proclaim, I have achieved everything I want to achieve in life for me and for my children. That is missing for some. So my running for Congress is really to have that opportunity available and to be extended for my fellow Americans, for new arrivals, for people that have been here for a long time, that have been working in the shadows. So they need to come up to the front and saying, we're proud to be Americans, we're proud to live here, and we are proud to finally have somebody who shares our values, the American values that we so highly cherish, and will represent us in the United States Congress to speak on our behalf, to champion our causes, and to move forward on the issues that are important for us.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I should say I could agree no more than what I can with you, because I'm so amazed with the fact that when same thing could happen to you, from an orphan to all the way, from a little guy, 12 years old, out of the orphanage in a brand new country, knowing nothing, everywhere around him was new, all the way to a Navy commander, If that could happen to you, the same thing could happen to anybody else. May starting lower than you or higher than you, whatever, regardless. So that is the encouragement of your own story. And then, speaking of the ambition though, that's not a stop. That is the only starting point. That's why you're running. Am I right?
Correct.
Very good. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we will find out how we want to change a country by changing ourselves first. Do a different person. Be a different man. So stay with us. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. It is the show of discussion for the campaign of his congressional approach. My dear friend, Commander Shamas of the U.S. Navy, former I mean, because he never stopped service after retirement, and now he even continues from that point on, feels ready for Congress. So this is a non-stop vehicle from 12 years of age all the way up till now. So non-stop. Okay, I like that. I respect that. And this show, of course, is partially in commemoration of great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his anniversary of his assassination, on his beautiful remark of "I have a dream," a beautiful dream, a never stopping, unrelenting dream. If everybody follows, I would say, well, we should live in a different country. If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was not assassinated, the first black American president might be him.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Yes.
Might be him.
Would have happened years ago, yes.
History had been delayed by his assassination. Otherwise, we will be talking about like 30, 40 years ahead of our schedule. Now, it is never too late to do something. This story reminded me, the story of Commander Shamas and the story of Martin Luther King Jr. Reminded me of, I wonder if you remember or if you know, there's outside London, Westminster Abbey, there is a famous tomb on which it says, "When I was young those days, I thought I was able to change the world. Later I realized I couldn't do a thing. And then I thought I could probably change my family. Change my community or my country.
Yes.
And then I realized I couldn't do a thing." Goes on and on and on. Says now, lying on my deathbed, I realized I could have changed myself. By then, I may change my family, and by then, I may set example that everybody follows so that we may change the country. And by then, probably, who knows,
Yes.
we may have changed the world already. So I believe my friend, Commander Shamas, started his story by doing his part first. And how do you, sir, at this very point, when you're ready to hit Congress floor, though, like to promote your own story of changing yourself first, be a different person, be a different human being, so that people will follow, rather than sitting there doing the politics. Wow,
Right.
wow, slogan after slogan. So,
No action. Jack, I think that was a beautiful quotation, and if we all reflect on that, we realize that really the few things that we can do is to really reflect on our own and what we can do as individuals to contribute to society. It's very difficult to ask somebody else to do something that you have not done. Mm-hmm. So we have to remember that. And I just wanted to tell you and to share with the audience that I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I did not take an oath to defend or support any political party or any political agenda. So as an officer, yes, I'm retired, but always an officer of the United States Navy, the greatest Navy in the world, it is my unique privilege and my unique honor to say my oath of continuing to do service to the community doesn't stop until the day maybe I'll be in front of the Abbey in London,
all right.
but I'd rather be here in the Veterans Cemetery and reflect that we have done everything we can to continue the opportunities that I had, that Jack has had, and others have had, to spread that opportunity and availability for others as well. Because America is only as great as the weakest individual in America. So we need to help and we need to extend our hand to our fellow Americans. Lady Liberty was an absolutely prime example of what America is about. When we reach out to others, others will reach back. When we put our hands out, people will grab your hand. When we do actions from the heart, people react and respond. And only that way can we really affect change. Now, granted, I'm going to Congress with your help. I'll be one out of 435, and it is very difficult for one person to make change. But it is not difficult for one person to start voicing what America is about, to try to get to the collective other members of Congress to realize and reflect we as Americans must perform and must hold dear what America is about. And Lady Liberty is that prime example, and most of them have forgotten that. Most of them have strayed away from what true American values are. And Jack and I, we share a lot of those values, just like many of you in the audience share those things. So,
And now my brother in China.
and your brother in China. We want to encourage people to realize that uniquely in this country, we can all participate to make change. But the change has to start somewhere. It's starting with me, and I hope it reaches out to you.
Exactly.
Your role
Exactly.
is to register to vote and to vote, because being silent, meaning accepting status quo, and none of us are happy with status quo. So we need to be proactive, getting personally involved, and make sure that you vote. And remember, every vote counts. With your vote, we can make the change that is necessary to make great America what it was, the land of liberty and justice and prosperity for all of us, not just for me or for Jack, but for all of us. Thank you.
All right. I would say that I like this statement, and yet you did it in the most sounding way.
Thank you.
And the grassrooted way. And also, I specifically believe in the fact that if you would rather call on people to do something, you would better do something yourself.
Yes.
And set yourself an example so that people follow, right? Like the guy said, if I could change my family, as an example, people might follow. By following me, we may together change the country. And by doing so, may the world be changed or something like that, in a reverse way.
Absolutely.
That is, in my language, called politics of no politician or politician of no politics. We're talking about doing your part to serve the country, make the country greater. If everybody does that part like the way it is described, well, there is a brand new country you're talking about.
Yes.
Am I right?
A rebirth
Now,
of what makes
Sure,
America
sure.
the founding nation.
There are
of
435
wonderful.
members, right? Of course, one of the 435th is nothing. Yet, if every one of the 435th consider himself or herself an example, so that she says there or he says there for people to follow, the country will totally look different.
Yes.
That is the politician, that is the candidate we want to support. That's the candidate you want to cast your vote on to make sure you're betting the right machine. Oh, excuse me for using that term, but as a matter of
Yes.
fact, it is true, right? So
Yes.
let's take a short moment out. When we come back, will check with my friend Commander Shamas certain issues, or on certain issues, to see where exactly he stands off. Stay with us, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show, Jack Xiao on the East West Show with the GNE TV today. Our subject of show is the politics of politician of no politics, or the other way, a politician. We're not talking about pure politics. Yeah. With me is my good friend, Commander of U.S. Navy, Joe Shamas. He himself is a example that we're talking about. Back to you, sir. I can't remember who said this. The one who said this was a poet. He says that the human are tend to be like a spotlight or a flashlight, while shining on others rather than the self. So everybody holds a flashlight while pointing at others without seeing themselves. If they would turn the way around, right, and to check with themselves, to start by, if I quote from him, doing my part right. So that could be a different thing, right? Now, I know that you will serve, and you just now said you sworn in not for your service to any of the partisanship, or any of the political agenda or things. You serve the U.S. Constitution, and then you serve to take orders, right?
That's right.
So how do you turn that into U.S. politics, please?
Well, you know, the politics, it sounds like a dirty word, and in many ways today it is a dirty word because it fails to serve the needs of the community.
Because it's dirty.
It is dirty. It's dirty business. And as you all know, politics now is so much infused with special interest funding, special interest.
You're right.
Pouring money into the kind of candidates that they can control under their thumb to run the agenda that they're special interested in. Well, I'm different. I'm not interested in corporate funding. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in people, everyday people like you, like me, like Jack, to help and support our campaign through small donations, not through major corporate sponsorships, because I want to be and I want to remain true to what I said earlier, and that is I swore an oath to support and uphold the Constitution, which is a reflection, and that is to serve the people. If you accept money from major corporations, you're going to do the bidding of those corporations.
So have you accepted anything from major corporations yet?
None whatsoever, and we will not accept from any major corporation, period.
Good. That's good. And go ahead, yeah.
So with that said, donations from community members, small donations, we can build up the grassroots that's needed to do what's important for our community. And as Jack said, many people focus the flashlight on others. You know, the thing is, it is so true that it's time for us to step back and say, what can we as Americans do for our country? Jack Kennedy, one of the greatest presidents we had, said, it's not what my country can do for me. It's more, what can I do for my country? And together, with your support, we can do a lot for our country to bring it back to being the moralist, to being the compassionate, and to being the true haven for the people that come to this wonderful country, for reprieve from religion, for opportunity, and for social justice. So together, in our own way, we can help rebuild that dream that Dr. Martin Luther King talked about before, dream of equality, dream of brotherhood among fellow members that live in this great country. So that's what we can do. We can start shining that light back on us, like Jack said, and saying, what can I do? What is my part to contribute to this great country? Let me support Joe Shamus for Congress, because he could be the voice that has been missing. He could be the conscience that has been silent. He could be the leader where leadership has failed. Because I have proven over my almost 25 years in the Navy, my ability to lead, my ability to make change, my ability to get things done. That's why I got promoted so often. So with that same, I want to be able to do and continue to serve you in the United States Congress with the same energy, the same zeal, the same passion that I served in the United States Navy.
In the same manner.
Absolutely.
All right, good. I like that. I really appreciate the analysis of doing his part. And of course, the word country that I use, that he used, that former President Kennedy used, or even quoted in the tomb that I'm talking about with the Westminster Abbey, they all refer to the territorial country, not the political government. Yeah. So let's clarify on that. Not the state, not the government, it is the country, it's the land of the free, the home of the brave. We all work for that. We all want to be a part of it. So he's now ready to be 1/35 of it, and I'm ready to be 300 millions of it, whatever, something like that. If everybody, like flashing my own light, right? So spotlight on me, myself, let me do my job, let me do my part, and this country will be better. I would say I hate those who shout slogans, knock on doors, let you hear their slogans, and after that, he or she is gone, right? I really hate that. I like the part that I swore in not to serve for politics, not to serve for any partisanship or their agenda whatsoever. I'm not accepting major corporation donation whatsoever. I just want to let you know that I'm ready to serve, and I'm able to serve, and I know how to serve, and I know how to do the leadership, right? Yes. I like the part that you say that I know the technique or the know-how of leadership, and that's why you were promoted over and over again. Yes. Let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, let's focus on the leadership part. Sure. And I remember that during the second segment, you mentioned that obviously our leadership has failed. Yes. I want you to pinpoint the part where our leadership has been failed, and also I want you to stick into the part that if I were there, I would have done a different way. And now I'm willing to do a different way, so on and so forth. How about that? I like being put on the spot. That's what I'm here to do, answer the question. You accept my challenge, Thank all right? Good, very good. My lovely audience, dear ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, today I feel kind of quite relaxed because I found somebody who speaks my same language, all right? And I really talk a lot about politics, but well, it's not quite often that we really speak the same language. Normally I ask the answer I ask, so on and so forth, like that. But to speak the same language is really once in the blue moon that I feel I like myself. So stay with us. We'll be right back talking about the blue moon. All right? Okay. Okay, stay with us. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with GNE TV. Today, one of the very rare moments that I can find myself totally relaxed and I can just use my own language without having to rhetorically think a lot. With my friend Commander Joe Shamas, candidate for Congress, I feel that not only he is ready, but also I am too, because I'm really ready to pinpoint the very thing that how has the leadership been doing, right? In his term, the leadership has failed, according to him. I want him, my friend, Commander Joe Shamas, and of U.S. Navy, candidate for Congress, to pinpoint which part and how our leadership fails, and how he believes he can fix it, all right?
Okay.
And he can, starting that on, do a different job. Stay with us. So we will listen to him.
Well, thank you, Jack. I think it's really important for people to understand that often we complain, but complaining is only one part. The other part has to be what, just like Jack said, what are you going to do about it? Today I'm going to answer that question in two parts. The first part I want to focus on international affairs, and the second part I want to focus on domestic affairs. So that way we really separate the two issues and we can talk about them in the manner that they both deserve to be addressed. In the international arena, I'm saying we, the United States of America, right now has, just for your information, over 1,000, listen to me, over 1,000 military bases around the world. Why do we need that many?
That's
rich. Money that we are blowing. That is, it's not helping our security. It is not helping the safety and well-being of the United States. We have one huge ocean on the East Coast, the Atlantic Ocean. We have an even a bigger ocean on the West Coast, and that is obviously the Pacific Coast. North, we have Canada, one of the most friendliest countries that we deal with. And in the south, of course, they're coming not for an invasion, they're coming to work.
Excuse me, sir, for
Yes.
one little moment, because I want to insert with my little surprise.
Of course.
I'm not surprised if this statement made by anybody else. I do get surprised when this is made by a former commander of U.S. Navy.
Yes.
You must have your,
I have my reasons.
right, tell
I
me.
have my data. The expansion of military bases around the world started after World War II. At that time, that was the right thing to do. Today, just like many, and if not all of you know, that technology and delivery methods have changed dramatically. We have satellites orbit. I mean, I'm not going to give you classified information, but share
All right.
generally known information. That is, we have satellites around the globe that instantaneously tell us what's going on everywhere in the world. In addition, we have, for if a conflict were to arise anywhere in the world, within a 24-hour period, we have the capability for
Of being
delivery to be at the spot, at that location, at the outside within 24 hours. Most often a lot sooner than that. So we do not need to be paying leases and to deploy our forces overseas. We need those military brave men and women to be stationed here in the United States of America, where one, we are paying their salary. They can spend that salary to support our economy. Right now, we're paying them their salary, and they're supporting the economies of those countries that host that. Now, I'm using the word
All
host
right.
very loosely
That
because
makes
they're
sense
really
otherwise,
not hosting
yes.
us. We actually pay them rent. We pay lease. Not necessary. Not necessary. So by having that exposure overseas, we're weakening our defense of the United States. We're worried about everybody else. We're not worried about us. So militarily, we have to refocus. And the difficult challenge is, once the military-industrial machine and the complex that drives that, they've expanded into how much we spend on the military, they never want to retract that. They always want to increase it. And this year was a prime example. We had an increase of $71 billion additional dollars to the defense budget. So right now, we're spending over $860 billion a year on military expenditures, which is 5 times more than the rest of the world combined. Now tell me that's how you want your tax dollars to be used. Not my tax dollars, not yours. With the technology, I've never compromised the safety and the security of the United States, of our people, but I think we can do it a lot better.
Okay, question.
Doing that.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If your analysis had been correct, though, in other words, without having to spend that much, we're not compromising our safety, our national defense, so on and so forth, why would we spend 5 times more money than the world combined to do the quote-unquote security or defense?
Beautiful question, Jack. And that brings us back to the previous segment that we were talking about.
All right.
The people that are funding the campaigns of elected politicians are the major sponsors of those politicians, and that's how they tell them to vote. Because McDonnell Douglas, Boeing, GE, and all the companies that have defense contracts, they're taking yours and my tax dollars to increase their profits. They're really not about safety and security of the United States.
Donald Trump was running for president with his own money, was he?
He ran with his own money,
Yeah.
yes. But
Yes.
now you notice he's even facing dramatic resistance to pull back. Last week he announced that ISIS is finished, we're going to withdraw from Syria. And what happens? The military-industrial machine creates a FAW, meaning a fake news about chemical attacks, so that we stay there because they don't want us to leave.
Kind of like dragging.
Absolutely.
Over.
So they have a chokehold
Okay.
on our politicians to drive the policy to remain engaged in military adventures overseas.
Now what you're saying is that Donald Trump, even he himself, his single drag will not drag it back.
That is true. He can have incredible influence, but remember, our government is formed in what's called a trilateral format, meaning the 3 equal branches of government.
Yeah.
There's the executive,
Checks and
which
balances,
is the president,
and-
the Congress, which controls the purse string, the purse strings, and of course the judicial system. So if Congress spends more, the president can't say no. That's an irony that we face. So what we need to do, and this is what we're talking about, is we all talk about this, but there's little that has been done. And that's why when Jack said we have to shine the flashlight back on us as what we can do.
Yes,
We can educate and tell others to stop electing those same politicians that continue accepting money from major corporations and continue.
So that reciprocation
that.
is not played.
Absolutely. It's called like grease your palm,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
grease
yeah,
your
yeah,
palm
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Ironically, they do not vote the same as the people. So even though they can pour money into those campaigns, you, the American public, are the voters. So you can decide to vote for people who don't accept.
In Chinese, there's a proverb called this kind of reciprocation, donkey scratch. There are 2 donkeys, right? They
Yes.
do the scratch that way, like that.
Well, obviously, they know what they're talking about. One of the most ancient
you
civilizations,
scratch my
smartest
back the
people.
way I scratch you, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But we have to be only scratching the backs of the American citizens so we can do what's best for them.
We the people.
We the
We
people.
the people. All right.
We the people.
My dear friend, I told you I was surprised, and you never feel how surprised I am when I hear from him as a Navy commander of U.S. Navy talking about we are overstretching ourselves to more than 1,000 military bases all around the world. As a matter of fact, we did not need that much. We do not need that much. Okay, anyway, so reciprocation is the word. He is ready to be one of the 435th of it. So how can we change it? Well, the only answer is that we get more of Joe Shama's style into the 435, the better we
Yes.
are. All right?
That's true.
That is sound solution.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's put him there for the first time. Okay.
Thank you,
All
Jack.
right,
Thank
man.
you.
All right. Now the handling you, and the vote is in your hand, and you cast your vote to him and make sure he goes there to promote his concept. My dear friend, my lovely audience, today we're over time, but we're happy. Every time when this happens, I ask my editor to cut myself off to keep him. So him being my good friend, Commander Joe Shamas of U.S. Navy, with 25 years of service, glorious years of service, and continues now, and shall be continued by serving in the Congress. My dear friends, that's not the only time. We will have him back on the show talking about his other differences between him and I. So stay with us, please.
Thank you.